Hi, welcome to the Brown Lounge on location here at the Spanish Table. With me is Sharon Baden, and she's one of the co-owners of the Spanish Table, along with Steve Winston. And first of all, this is just one of the best places to go, if not the best, in Seattle for all things Spanish wine, Spanish food, Spanish paella pans, you name it. And Sharon's going to talk to us today about her story, about how they started the Spanish Table, and what all they have here. Before we just get started, I wanted to also just say that Steve wrote this book, which is a wonderful book called The Spanish Table. And in fact, the reason I met Steve in the first place was at a book signing that he did at the Metro Market. And we've been Facebook friends ever since. So definitely pick up this book. Sharon, tell us a little bit of the story about how the Spanish Table got started.
Well, it all started in '85 when we went to Spain the first time, and we fell in love with the food and wine of Spain. And at that time, Steve worked for the federal government, and he had a job where he traveled a lot to other cities. So every time he went to another city, he'd look for Spanish food, products, wines, because there was very little available here. And he didn't find a lot available in other places except maybe a few different wines. So then when he was given the opportunity to retire early, he decided to open a store that sold Spanish food and wine. And I remember the day he came home and said, "Guess what? I'm going to retire early and open a store selling Spanish food and wine." And I said, "Well, how do you know anybody other than us who would want to buy anything like that?" "Oh, don't worry, they'll come. They'll come."
Like, how do you build an audience? And your first store was across the street, right?
Right. Yeah, where the Patterson Cellars is.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, the store is beautiful. Tell folks, what are the things you sell? Why should they come to the Spanish Table?
Oh, well, probably wine and paella ingredients are our two top sellers. We also sell a ton of meat because we have all of the cured meat products that you would find in Spain.
Right.
Jamon serrano, jamon iberico, the chorizos.
We love your chorizo.
Yeah. And it's the authentic chorizo too. It's not the crumbly, more Mexican style. It's got the flavors you would get in Spain. And the cheeses as well. I mean,
we'll definitely have to check out your cheese cakes and all of the fresh food that's there. I love your olives,
yes.
Spanish olives.
Yeah.
You cannot buy Spanish olives anywhere that I've found besides here. Unless you want to go to Spain.
Yeah. It's a little far.
It's a little far. Well, I tell you what, I want to definitely give the audience a chance to take a look at your paella section, your paella pan, talk a little bit about that. That's just, you've got a wonderful selection here. So let's check on over there and see what you've got.
Alrighty.
Well, here we are in the most important section of the Spanish Table, which is the paella pan section, with all of the paraphernalia that goes along with the paella pan. And I just wanted to point out, Sharon, that when we first came to the Spanish Table years and years ago, this was the size of our first paella pan. And a couple years ago, after going to one of your killer paella parties, we had to have a big pan too, just like you. And so, being the copycats that we are, this was the size of our second paella pan, which, of course, requires this wonderful contraption to actually heat the thing outside. So, what we're really excited about is that our paella party coming up in August, we're going to get the big pan out, and we're going to do some good cooking. So, I hope you join us at that party. But I thought it would be great to just hear about some of the stories that you guys must hear it all, right?
We do. It's awesome. I mean, customers have the best stories. Like, one customer came in, bought kilos and kilos of rice and some saffron and just loaded up. And I'm like, "Wow, you're making some paella this week." And he said, "Yeah, we have a cabin on Vancouver Island, and we just go up there, we go out on the beach, we gather blended clams, and we have crab pots, and we just gather all the seafood, and we just throw it in and make all these wonderful seafood paellas." And I mean, what could be better? Totally fresh seafood? Oh, how awesome.
Well, we love communal cooking, and paella is just that, and especially with a pan like this. Everyone's in there stirring, and everyone's telling their stories about the paella that they just made. You were telling us a story a second ago about the big competition they had on Mercer Island, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the Spain Association, but it's a cultural, social club. Anybody could join that loves Spain or Spanish. And they have all these events. Well, they've been doing a paella competition for the last, 4 or 5 years. And the year before, they only got 2 contestants. So this year, they opened it up to professionals and amateurs. Before, it was just amateurs. And so they got 5 or 6 restaurants. We were in the professional category, and about 5 or 6 amateurs. And so we had the Harvest Vine, we were there, Andaluca Restaurant, Olivar Restaurant, gosh, I can't remember her restaurant's name, anyway. And then about 6 other amateurs, and the Harvest Vine won, and their paella, they did a black rice paella, and they called it their flamenco dress paella, because they took piquillo peppers and cut it into rounds and layered those all over the top of the black rice. And then they took the squeeze ball and put alioli over the top. And it was not only beautiful, it was magnificent tasting.
Wow. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It sounds fantastic.
And they got 200 people that came to eat all the paella because they charged admission, and then people that came could just eat however much paella they wanted till it ran out.
I think we should join the Spanish Association because I want to go to that next year for sure. Well, I tell you what, let's just do a little bit of a wrap up here, and then let's go. I want to just check out your fresh foods and your cheese, and because that's fantastic. So let's just spend a little time over there and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we're in the meat and cheese section of the Spanish table, and Sharon has been kind enough to give me a little bit of a basket of her favorite things here at the Spanish table. So why don't you tell me about some of these things that are your favorites?
These are not only my favorite things, but they're things you probably can't find anywhere else. For example, this is one of the best pork products ever. It's jamón ibérico, and it's made from a specific variety of pig, the Blackfoot pig, and it's fed acorns. So this is sliced very thin. You just eat it as is. You can even drape it over bechamel, and it just simply melts in your mouth. It's terrific. Then right now we have these fresh padron peppers that are from California. If you've never had them, they're the easiest appetizer ever. You just fry them up in some oil until they blister on each side, and then you throw a little sea salt on them and eat them.
Oh, that sounds
And
delicious.
about 1 in 10 is hot, and that's what people like the best about it.
So it's like a roulette game.
Exactly,
Nice.
exactly.
Nice.
Then we have the white anchovies, which are milder than a regular anchovy. They're great in Caesar salad. You can just eat them as is. You can put them on a little piece of toast with maybe some roasted vegetables or tuna. Really, really versatile. Then we have squid ink, which you must use if you make a black paella. We were just talking about the Harvest Vine and the black paella.
We might have to try that. We might have to try that at our next party. Definitely.
It's delicious.
Yeah, we might have to grab some of that today.
And then we have a lot of different chorizos. This is our Palacios brand chorizo, which is made in Spain. The flavor's phenomenal. We made a paella once. We used this chorizo and another brand that's made here domestically. And the flavor of this was so much better. It's a little bit drier cured, but it cooks up great in the paella.
So it's good to know you're doing your own taste testing. So when customers come in, you know.
Yeah.
You give them the best advice. And so we've got an incredible amount of cheese here. What's your favorite cheese?
My favorite cheese is this Montcabrera. It's a goat cheese that's bathed in vegetable oil and charcoal, and it's aged for 90 days. And you really need to taste it. It's a semi-soft goat cheese. It's just a little bit of a tangy but kind of sweet flavor.
I love goat cheese.
I do too.
It just has a flavor that this is delicious. You have to come to the Spanish table. This place rocks. We love it. And by the way, we're at the western location. You guys have multiple locations, right?
Yeah, we have 2 stores in the Bay Area in California, one in Berkeley, one in Mill Valley, and one in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The Santa Fe store doesn't have wine, but everything else that we carry, they have. And we've got a website that has all of our store locations. It's SpanishTable.com. And we also have a wine website, which is SpanishTableWines.com.
And of course, they're on Facebook.
Yes.
So you can find them on if you go to the Brown Lounge on Facebook, you can also find the Spanish Table on our site. So it's all good. You can find the Spanish Table anywhere. You can also find them on Western Avenue in Seattle. And I think that's it. I think it was a wonderful day. I can't wait to come out of here. I'm definitely going to be spending some money here after we're done. So that's it for today. The Brown Lounge on location at the Spanish Table. As Sharon said, find us on Facebook. We also are on Twitter, at the Brown Lounge on Twitter. And all of our videos, including this one, can be found on our YouTube channel, Brown Lounge Seattle.